Good morning and welcome to another wonderful edition of Global Morning, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. It is a beautiful midweek edition of Global Morning. Today is Wednesday, and of course, a lot of people will be thinking, maybe do an assessment of how Monday and Tuesday have been. What do they need to make up? What do they need to meet up with? As a matter of fact, before they step into Thursday and Friday and start thinking of the weekend. This is another time for us to bring you to speed with things happening around the world, Nigeria, conversations for you today that would at least give you perspective to some things happening in Nigeria and around the world. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and as usual, I'm not alone on Global Morning. I have my co-host right here, Jumai Manson, not Priscilla today. It's good to have you.
It's great to be here. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning and amazing weather, by the way. I think it's a bit cloudy.
Yeah, I think the weather yesterday revealed that there's going to be a little rain today.
Yes,
but then it depends on the weather. The weather changes per time.
Yeah, that's true.
There could be changes to the weather, and we have more rain than expected. But then, all the same, this is the season. So, as you leave in the house this morning, endeavor to move out with an umbrella or maybe a raincoat. Do people still use raincoats?
I've not seen that in a long time. I've not seen that.
But it's so nice.
To cover up from head to toe.
To cover up from head to toe.
It is, but I've not seen that in a long time. I think it's mostly umbrellas now.
Yeah,
umbrellas,
maybe. All right. Whichever way, as you move out of your house today, ensure you go out with something to prevent yourself from being drenched by the rain.
Very important.
So just prepare for it. We're not sure, but just prepare for it.
Exactly.
Yesterday, I don't know. I don't even know the words to use. Whether fake agency DG or the acclaimed, I don't know. But then, as it's been tagged on newspapers and of course in the media, is fake agency DG. I saw it when the police were, I don't know if it was a preliminary interrogation, then they were asking him, what's the name? And he was like, I've told you my name, you know my name, and all of that. He was arrested yesterday, I think in Osun State.
Oh my goodness.
Osun State. Yesterday, we were made to understand that investigation is on. Himself also said there is need for independent investigation, apart from ICPC. But then the House of Representatives on their own part came out to say, well, we ain't doing any investigation until the ICPC conclude their investigation. I was like, all right, this is a case of allegation, as it is being alleged.
Yes, it is.
Because some big names were mentioned. There were accusations that a life has been taken as a result of that. The only witness, as it's been claimed, I think based on what was in the media space and what Nigerians were told, had a fire incident somewhere in Asokoro and didn't make it. So after then, Adeyemi was like lamenting, and as at yesterday or the day before yesterday, was saying his life is not also safe, and was pleading with the president that there is need for independent investigation. Then you come to think about it. This very allegation involves some big names, especially the chief of staff to the president.
Exactly.
All right, that is Femi Gbajabiamila.
Yeah.
You know what that means.
That's big.
And look at ICPC and where they belong. And in Nigeria, people have a lot of perception when you have a case. Can we now say this case is between Adeyemi and Gbajabiamila, or Adeyemi and the federal government? Because the acclaimed agency is a federal government agency.
Yes, it
but
is.
what Nigerians are not really clear about is how did that agency get into the budget? Money was budgeted. other agencies are crying that, well, disbursement have not really gotten to them, but this very agency had disbursement. And, I think a part of it also. But so many things have been said. Nigerians are not clear yet. The lobbying, firm in the US are saying, well, we'll grant you asylum. The first time he was declared, Adeyemi was declared wanted, they were looking for him.
Oh, yes.
But yesterday he was found. And as we speak, he's in police custody. So we're waiting for what will happen. Whether he's going to be transferred to ICPC or the police is going to do their own investigation while ICPC do theirs. But a lot of Nigerians are saying, I've had a guest on my program who said, well, it is better and we'll get more results if there is an independent investigation.
Yes,
and the person was like, even if it is former judges, all right, judges, if it is former judges like we had the Oputa panel that year, it will be better. But the way it is right now, I don't know. Some persons were even suggesting that it could be external investigators, even maybe from abroad or anywhere. Give them the information they need. Let them do their investigation. But we're still waiting. We don't know what to become of Adeyemi or the accused, or I don't know. Should I call him an accused? Is he an accused yet? Well,
yes,
he's been accused of a particular act, or being part of the agency, and all of that. But whatever it is, I think some Nigerians are saying, well, this is one out of so many. I don't know. Because some Nigerians are saying that this is one out of so many because Nigerians feel so many things are happening that they are not aware. And that's to say corruption, all right, is growing hair and tail in Nigeria as it is, meaning it's getting old, it's having gray hair. The thing is already having gray hair. So I don't know when corruption is going to die.
In Nigeria.
And
some, like you said, those allegations by so many Nigerians have come up to say that if you investigate further, you find out that there are various fake agencies around that we're not even aware of.
And they have employees.
And they have, of course, they have employees. They are going out doing contracts and all of that under the guise of a particular agency that is non-existent. And some are saying this is a bad deal gone wrong. That someone was just.
This is double wahala according to Fela, double wahala for the body and the owner of the body.
And then he said, and some are saying it's just a bad deal that went wrong. Maybe greed just crept in and the person didn't want to, and then just blew up the whole thing. Because many persons, I'm telling you, for some, I don't know how true it is, that there are so many fake agencies that have gotten budget allocations, collected the money, shared it, and they've moved on with life. Like, this is just a bad deal gone wrong. It's just they say one day for the thief.
Many days for the thief.
Many days for the thief, but one day for the owner.
So the owner, this is the day of the owner.
This is the day of the owner, where our eyes are now open to see that there are fake agencies lurking around the federal government under the guise of a lot of guys, and then you find out that they are non-existent and they carry out government projects and they actually sign and all of that. So this is like a checkmate for us to know that these things happen and many people have gotten away with it. And it's just unfortunate that Adeyemi has been caught. But let's just see how well this plays out, and hopefully, I think I support the independent investigation. I think we'll get a lot, but will things tally? Will they allow it? Will things tally? We do not know.
But in the actual sense of it, if the federal government really want to clear its name, because this has to do with the federal government. We're talking about the chief of staff.
That's big.
So, in other words, we're even talking about the president right now.
Exactly.
Because if you say, well, the chief of staff, if he is really involved, some Nigerians will suspect that the presidents also know about it, because that's more like his chief of staff.
I don't think so.
All right.
Think so.
You know how Nigerians think, how people generally think. All right. Just like his father was arrested when they were looking for him. I'm talking about Adeyemi now.
I understand.
So there might be this perception that if we get the father, we'll get him. They arrest a husband for a crime being committed, and they said, well, the wife cannot totally disagree that she's been living with this man for this number of years and doesn't know what he does. You know, so these are the implications. You know, Nigerians will put 1, 2, 3 together.
True.
And some will tell you 2 plus 2 is 4. Some will tell you 2 plus 2 is 22.
But you know, Ramsey, sorry to interject, but in some cases, you know, some men, I didn't say all, your gender, are very secretive. They can live like a double life. So
more secretive than women?
You don't understand that there are some men out there who have like 3 families or 2 families, and the one that is living with thinks that he's saint.
Have you heard that men have trained children to the university level, not knowing that they are not, those kids were not their children? You've heard, the woman kept it.
I think it's
for that number of years.
But
so
some men can be
depends on the individual.
And some men can be into they can be entangled in criminality, and their partner might not.
No, it's possible.
Exactly. So I don't think that should hold any weight at all.
It's possible. But then,
nah, I don't think so.
Well, it's possible. This is Nigeria. Discreet. Not just men, even the women. I just give you an instance.
Yes.
We've heard cases of no. We just need to go and carry out a test. You know, let me know if this child is mine and all of that. Yeah. This is after a very long time.
20 years.
So it happens.
Yes, it does.
Then I think it's high time we also look at the security situation in Nigeria. Benue is boiling until now as we speak. I think there are so many messages flying on social media where we hear cases of abduction, kidnapping, and of course robbery taking place in Benue State. Benue State is one of the states that was known as the food basket of the nation. But then, I think now people can doubt it. If Benue is really the food basket of the nation or a center hub for terrorism. Well, we heard of, is it massacre or the killings somewhere in Otuponobi in Benue State, in Otupo local government of Benue State. Somebody posted that he is appreciating the people of Otuponobi for rejecting the millions that the state government, Governor Hyacinth Alia, brought to them. All right, they rejected the money based on what we heard. And some persons were saying, well, instead of rejecting the money, they would have collected it. And some persons are saying, lives have been lost. People were wounded. And nobody knows when this situation is going to end. Instead of giving us money, give us protection. You know, so you put these two side by side and you begin to think, what are the authorities doing? As for the chief, well, some person said, you can't categorically say it's herders, the Fulani herders. And the people that we attacked said, these are Fulani herders. And before now, because of the unaliving of the Bieti Allah herd, you're right, a lot of people suspected so many things. There were a lot of speculations before this attack. And so persons are saying there is need to beef up security in Benue State. Why? Because nobody knows if there is going to be more attacks. And the way these people attack, they do it in form of a guerrilla attack. They come when people are asleep. Like this one that happened at Otuponobi, they came 2, 3 a.m. when people were sleeping and lives were wasted. Sometimes I think security votes, maybe, I don't know, it's not somehow being used the way it ought to. Or can we say we don't have enough security operatives? We're not talking about the Northeast yet, where the terrorism has seriously eaten into the very deep into that arena. You know, they have camps and all of that. People being recruited on a daily.
Yes, they are.
For that area, we know that that's where it started from and it has grown. But for places like the North Central, the West, the East, I think some things can still be done. All right. Deployment of security operatives, especially places that are prone to this terror attack. You know, security operatives, if we don't have enough policemen, we have the civil defense. If we don't have enough of them, we have the army, we have the air force who can even patrol in the air. And if it's in a safe country where things are working, at least we should have air force patrolling. If we hear that, all right, this is what has happened and we are suspecting, and I don't know if it is an allegation, it was said that before that strike there was a prior information, all right, intelligence information from the Ochidoma to the security operatives before that attack, but they said nothing was done. As it is allegedly said, nothing was done, you know, until these people came and struck. So I am thinking it will be necessary for a collaboration between the traditional rulers, the chiefs, and the security of operatives, all right, so that this issue of insecurity can become a thing of the past, because we can totally concentrate on 2027 election and forget about the people. The people need to be alive to vote for these politicians. So I don't know if there is some form of negligence in our security system, or it is that these terrorists, kidnappers, and abductors are more powerful than our security operatives. Whatever it is, I think the federal government, state government, and even the local government need to up their game.
Yes, it's very important. You've spoken very well, and of course, you know, Benue is one part in Nigeria that we've been going back and forth with this issue of terrorists, you know, individuals storming in, you know, unaliving residents and all of that. It's a call to action, basically, and it's just unfortunate that this is where we are. And you know, when you mentioned that the Ochidoma gave the security agencies head up and nothing was done, it's cause for worry. What's happening to this toll-free number that has to do with I know it's in the pipeline.
Is it really working?
And that's the thing. It's in the pipeline. So I think that will help in a way, and state policing also will help in a way, because for as much as the youths are there, vigilante groups, they can do barely nothing when it comes to these individuals who have sophisticated weapons. It's just unfortunate that this is where we are, and we pray that it doesn't, you know, just like the Northeast, like you mentioned, it doesn't become a norm that they start having camps in Benue State. Right. Well, hopefully the needful should be done. And it's just unfortunate that this is where we are.
We pray that the needful be done. Now, quickly we'll take a break and we'll bring you taste and texture. Probably we'll be able to give you an insight, or maybe I don't want to say expo into what to take this morning. A quick break. We'll bring you taste and texture now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Taste and Texture. This is your super innovative chef, Saadatu Garba. Today, we're going to prepare an easy delicacy, and we will be breaking down the entire process. In this episode of the program, we'll be preparing pancakes with syrup. Pancake is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a recipe that is filling, delicious, and nutritious. Also, this breakfast pancake can be made in under 5 minutes by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Ingredients: flour, sugar, egg, milk, salt, oil, and butter. Add a cup of flour into a bowl. Add 2 teaspoons of sugar and baking powder. Add a teaspoon of salt and mix all together. Add a cup of milk into the dry mixture. Crack 1 egg and whisk, then add into the batter. Add 2 tablespoons of oil and mix everything together, then set aside. Heat up a pan with little oil. Scoop your pancake batter and add into the heated pan. Allow to cook for a minute, then flip when the edges are brown. Repeat the process until you exhaust the batter. Serve with syrup and butter, and your fluffy pancakes are ready to enjoy. That's how we end today's episode of Taste and Texture. I hope you found our recipe insightful. Let's do this again next time, and be sure to join me for another taste-friendly delicacy. I am Saadatu Garba, your creative chef, saying thank you for watching.
Segment of Taste and Texture. Pancakes, amazing pancakes there, and I think you should give it a try when it comes to whatever you want to take it with. There's pancakes and scrambled eggs, pancakes and tea, coffee. It depends on what tickles your fancy, but it's yummy-licious and tasty. Ramsey, I'm sure you're going to try it out.
Yeah, maybe sometime, not today.
I don't like the look on your face when you said it, like you don't like it.
So, well, it's food. If I don't like it, other people will like it. But this looks very enticing.
Oh God,
It looks very enticing. I don't want anything that will put me on the hotspot this morning.
Why?
Because I don't have it readily available here.
Okay, sorry.
And why are you making me salivate now?
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I won't make you salivate, okay?
Well,
All right, of course, that was the Yumilicious segment of Taste and Texture. Hope you will be trying it out to discover your cooking style. It's delicious and it's tasty. Let's get inspired this morning with my co-host on Heart to Heart Inspirational. Stay tuned.
It's another beautiful day here, and I'm so excited to come on your way right here as we talk heart to heart. Sometimes it's better to discuss things that will move us forward and be sincere to ourselves in every way possible. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. We want to look at packaging and peace of mind. We already talked about the first part of it. This is the second part of it. This is more like a part 2 of it. I want to encourage everyone that it is better for you to be yourself and live fine with the rest of mind that you ever crave for than you packaging to glorify fake lifestyle. Take for instance, a lot of people celebrate hard work, integrity, and of course contentment. But then it's good for you to teach especially your children the dignity which matters more than appearance. Dignity matters more, much more. Let me use the word much more than appearance. Why did I have to say it so? It's better for you to teach your children, your kids as they are growing, that there is no shame in starting small. But then, do you know that our kids, the people around us who are children, copy more from our actions, from the things we do, even unknown to us? Somebody might be saying, I'm not a parent, I don't have kids and all of that. People's children that are around you, your nephew, your nieces that are around you can learn from you. Even children in your compound can also learn from you. But then how are you living your life? A lot of people live fake life, which is not necessary if you ask me. So what do you need to do? Teach the kids, the children around you, the people around you who are looking up to you, let them know that peace of mind is one of the greatest blessings on earth. As a matter of fact, let me just remember, and I want us to know that there is something very powerful. Packaging can attract what we call temporality, all right? It is temporal. Money can create attention temporarily. Then we are in the era of social media, of course, where a lot of people do so many things, a flamboyant life on social media. But in the real sense of it, if they live, that life is known as a fake life. So social media cannot create what you are looking for. it can only create what we call illusion, and it's temporal. But peace of mind, as a matter of fact, gives you health. It helps you live healthy, gives you long life, make you live longer, clarity, joy, true happiness. Well, happiness is free, they say, but so many things have robbed us of our happiness. Yeah, a lot of people have sold their happiness on the platter of, this is not good this time, on the platter of fake life, all right? Packaging, wrong packaging to impress people who may not even contribute anything to your life. They may not even donate or contribute anything meaningful to your life. The only thing you will hear is, oh, wow, you look this, you look that. But then choose peace of mind over pressure. That's my advice for everyone. Choose contentment over competition. Choose purpose over appearance. Choose reality over packaging. Because at the end of the day, peace of mind is greater than packaging. So what do you have to do, especially in Nigeria, people in Nigeria? Well, I want to let you know this. Nigerians are seriously blessed. Nigerians are blessed people. But then a lot of people want to live like other persons, and you are living a life of another person. It means you become a second-hand human being. You're living a second-handed life because you're living the life of someone else. But then I want you to know that there is something that you need. Lasting peace is better than temporary packaging. All right, my people, I need to let you know this, that a small house with peace of mind is better than a mansion full of a lot of shouting, bitterness. Before you get to your home, you feel very bad. You don't even want to go home anymore. But then you got into that home because you want to impress. Someone says something and he said, well, a lot of people are getting married to fake people today. People who live fake life most times attract other persons who are living fake life. But unfortunately, some persons fall victim into the hands of these people who are living fake and packaged life. Then at the end of the day, you see that after a very short time, because two fake people came together, that relationship, that marriage will never see the light of day because this is fake. Originality is not there. Everything is based on packaging. It is not necessary. You need your peace of mind, your rest of mind, because peace of mind comes from contentment. It comes from living within your means. It also comes from honesty. Like I said earlier, if you're honest to me and I'm honest to you, we'll go far than when you're being fake and be fake. And one fakeness, all right, if you're fake in one thing, you will need to be fake in the other thing to balance the first fake appearance that you put up. All right, that's what it means. And it's going to get you involved in so many things that will bring disaster to your life. So what you have to do, be contented, all right, as much as possible. But then I want to let you know that there are so many things you need to do. Avoiding unnecessary competition is very important. Just make yourself feel like I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm on earth to fulfill purpose, and you pursue your purpose. Live life, all right, to the fullest. But then it comes with so many things. First of all, knowing that your journey is different from another person's journey. Everybody's on a journey of destiny. You are heading somewhere, I'm heading somewhere. But the truth is that on this journey of life, you are going to meet a lot of persons. But who is going your direction? Who is not going your direction? Who needs to enhance your movement on this journey? Who needs to add one or two things to this journey you are embarking on? Who needs to do one or two things to increase your speed on the journey of life? This is very important. We are all on a different journey. You are going somewhere, I'm going somewhere. But then your ability to be able to know that this person is on the same journey, all right? Maybe the person might not be going your distance, but then that point in time when you met this person, what is this person contributing to your journey of destiny? Very important. You need to know who is living a fake life, who is just packaging to impress and all of that, and who is living a real life. Because if you want to do copy, at the end of the day, it might not go down well with you. But as a matter of fact, even our elders understood this principle. All right. Many of our parents lived simple lives, but this was dignity, unity, and peace of mind. No one bothered them for anything because they lived their lives the way they want to live it, the way they are supposed to live it. But some people have more gadgets, but less happiness, more gadgets. A lot of people even borrow. Let me say this. I don't know. Some person, there are people like that. Maybe there's somebody listening to me right now. The person may have a lot of gadget, iPhone this, iPhone that, but then every knock on the door, the place you took loan from, you are scared if they are the ones. All right. But the truth is this, not everything that glitters is gold. Somebody may look very successful outside, but still be emotionally broken inside. And that is why we must stop appearances. All right. Don't use appearances to measure success. It's not. True success is sleeping without fear, eating without pretending, living without fake pressure, having genuine relationship, and being able to smile sincerely. The smile that comes from the mind. I call it sincere smile. Peace of mind also means protecting your mental health. Stop forcing yourself to belong to where you are not valued. Stop killing yourself to impress people. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to another person's chapter 20. Start from somewhere. And that is all I have for you today on Heart to Heart. I believe we've been able to talk heart to heart. Have a beautiful day ahead of you. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo.
Welcome back from that very interesting heart-to-heart segment. Of course, the inspiration of my co-host. But I have a question to ask, though. When he said fake life is destructive, I don't understand. I see people with makeup. You're just concentrating on women. What's the problem, Ramsey?
No, not makeup, you know.
I saw that. I saw girls being happy and dancing. Is that fake life?
You know, most times, we should not allow this gender thing distract us. It means you didn't listen to everything that I said. Your attention was the first image, all right? And this is it. What actually inspired me for this heart to heart, this very topic, it's when I saw complaints of people divorcing their wives after their wedding, or maybe people breaking up, all right, in their relationship because they discovered that either the man was fake or the woman was fake. And one of the first, all right, one that I heard was that the woman, I don't know what she used. I don't want to say painted her face. I don't know what she used because I'm not really into it. All right. It's like she painted her face. She was looking very beautiful. Okay. All right. But then I don't know what happened. It's like they got home, and after washing everything up, if you see the woman's face, one, she was looking very old, with wrinkles, you know, and the man was like, I don't know if it was staged anyway. The man was like, is this my wife? Really? Okay. And from that day, so many things happened, and that marriage didn't stay because just be yourself. No matter who you are, somebody must appreciate you. Oh, yes. You don't need to go and use pad, you know, to make enhance your body.
Look at me, I have tribal marks, and I'm proud of them.
Is it visible?
They are.
I'm struggling to see.
Exactly, but I'm not going to go for surgery and cover it up. Many of my friends say
these things add beauty.
Really?
Right? Yes, it adds beauty to people's faces. It adds beauty. You may not know.
No, I don't. No.
It adds beauty to people's faces. Have you not seen people growing up? I used to know people that after makeup, they use this black eye pencil to draw something like this. Some will just put a mark like this. Some will put something like,
Okay.
These are things that I've seen.
Okay.
And some have it natural.
Yes.
So these are some of these things. But all the same, in whatever you do, in your business, in your office, in your relationship, in everything, try as much as possible
to be yourself. Okay.
Don't be fake. Be original all the time.
Okay.
Don't try and be a photocopy. All right. If you copy any other person's lifestyle, you are simply a photocopy. Okay. Be an original.
Okay. In Ramsey's word, be original. All right. Now, with that, let's quickly go into the newspaper review segment. Let's quickly go for a very quick break, and then when we come back, newspaper review segment comes up next. Stay tuned. All right, you're welcome back from that very quick break. Up next is the newspaper review segment on Global Morning. We have the first paper of the day. It's the Punch newspaper with some very interesting headlines. It says, FG ends UN-led humanitarian coordination, and that is on page 7. On page 9 on the Punch, it says, reps dump own state police bill, adopt Tinubu's version, and that's, like I mentioned, on page 9. On page 8, we have here, it says, Oyo abduction, Senate SGF fault Makinde's UN probe demand. And that's a picture of the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. And beside the nameplate of the Punch newspaper on page 9, it says, 2027 race, INEC recognizes Atiku 470 ADC candidates. And that's on page 9. And the star story on the Punch says, fake agency scandal. And it says how IGP Special Forces arrested controversial DG in Oshun hideout. And we have 3 riders there. And of course, when you flip over to page 2, you find that story. One of the riders says, inside the 1-week manhunt that led to Adeyemi's arrest. The next says, Abuja High Court postponed arraignment until September 30th. And the next rider says, NBA, others push for evidence-driven investigations. And below all of that, it says, tears, joy has abducted all your pupils. You reunite with parents, of course, thank God. But Ramsey, a lot of controversies, and that really is on page 7. And on page 30, on the Punch, it says, fans ride booking app triggers airport taxi row. And on page 4, it says, manhunt begins for killers of Lagos NURTW leader. And then on page 8, it says, FG grants Shell $11.54 per barrel tax credit to unlock $20 billion investment. And those are the stories on the Punch newspaper. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed and avoid fake news. Next is The Guardian. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jumai. Let's get to the Vanguard Guardian newspaper and see the headlines that we have there. Below the nameplate, directly below the nameplate, of course, we have the issue of fake agency, PFIPC, calls grow for Senate, Gbajabiamila probe as police arrest Adeyemi, reps query OAGF over deductions from MDA's statutory fund. And then this one says, Akpabio, Abbas defend decision to prioritize Tinubu's state police bill. UN scales down humanitarian intervention, hands over to institutions. Weather forecast predicts daily rain for the next 10 days. Next 10 days. Is it everywhere in Nigeria or just in FCT or in Lagos or in Port Harcourt? You'll find out from the Guardian newspaper. APC NWC overrules earlier Ayedatiwa on candidates list. Battle for relegation may cripple power reforms, NEC warns. Orire kidnapping, Senate lawyers, CSOs divide over Makinde's push for UN probe. Right, I think a lot of people talking about probes now. The Star story says fuel jumps by 100 naira per litre as Dangote shifts $1.84 billion FX burden to marketers. Those are the headlines for you today. Okay, we still have one more. UN scales down humanitarian intervention, hands over to institutions. And those are the headlines for you this morning on the Guardian newspaper as we move to our next bit of call, which is First Daily.
All right, now the First Daily newspaper, beside the nameplate, it says Atiku to Tinubu probe fresh grant claim against Gbajabiamila. And below that, it says INEC seeks increased funding ahead of 2027 election. And court voids FG's 8-year tenure gap on education directors. Reps withdraw state police bill, adopt executive-backed proposal. And it says gunmen kill Lagos NURTW organizing secretary Toba Ajiboye. And the Star story reads, PFIPC scandal, police arrest ghost agency DG in Osun. And troops free 7 abducted travelers in Plateau hunt kidnappers. And it says Nigeria must move from reforms to results, finance minister warns. And below that it says 2027 Tinubu battle ready for opposition. And that's from the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast of major issues making rounds on the First Daily. Next we have the Nigerian News Direct.
Nigerian News Direct has these headlines for you this morning. Suleiman Teriba, others inaugurated as Finance Ministry Advisory Committee members. Police arrest server claims PFIPC DG. State Police, that's the kicker. Reps step down alteration bill to consider execution version. More headlines for you on Nigerian News Direct today. We awarded contracts worth $518 million to indigenous contractors in 2025. This is coming from Shell. GT Bank named Nigeria's best performing bank. Niger Guba, Bago retains Garba as running mates. That's 2027. Now the Star story, which says pension assets hit record 31.48 trillion naira as federal government clears 19-year arrears. I saw this headline and I was excited. Some riders to that story, and the first rider says 51% growth in retirement savings. 758 billion naira bond benefits 957,045 Nigerians. This one says Aspencon unveils fresh reform for informal sector. And these are the headlines for you on the Nigerian News Direct today as we move to the New Telegraph.
All right, now the New Telegraph, it says here above the nameplate, it says reports Nigeria is projected to import 2.55 trillion naira worth of used vehicles in 4 years. And then below that, it says police arrest alleged fake PFIPC DG Adeni Adeyemi in Osun. And next it says here, Lassa fever death toll hits 221 as NCDC records fresh rise in infections. And that's on page 25. On page 30, it says 2027, Ayedatiwa, alias loyalist, missing as APC uploads NAS list. And on page 2, it says Trump scraps threats of 20% fee on Hamas cargo. And the Star Story says State Police reps reverse passage adopt Tinubu's version. And that's read you will find on page 245 and 6. And on page 31, it says offer bank robbery. Saraki's lawyer tell judge to rescue himself. As court faces July 21st for hearing. And on page 29 says, fears grips Unijos after man's decapitated body found on campus farmland. That's sad. And insecurity on the New Telegraph, it says here on page 2, 5, and 6, U.S. Nigeria target ISIS perpetrators of anti-Christian violence. And on page 4, 5, 6, and 25, it says 2027, Baba Ahmed's appeals to judiciary on ADC, NDC court cases. And below that, study links, it says here, chronic cannabis smoking to higher cancer risk. So those who are found
cannabis smoking
is
cancerous?
Yes, high cancer risk. So if you're fond of substance when it comes to this issue of smoking and substance, we know
that means there is nothing good about smoking.
There is nothing good about smoking.
Because when I was growing up, one of the caption that caught my attention was when it's written on the pack of cigarette that smokers are liable to die young.
Yes, they are.
And I was thinking about it. This is somebody producing something and is telling you it's a matter of choice. This is the implication.
Yes.
And people go ahead to patronize them.
They do.
There is a problem.
For so many people who travel abroad, they'll tell you it's different when it comes to the weather. It's extremely cold, so individuals who do not even smoke in Nigeria find themselves smoking abroad because they want to retain that heat. But that is not even an excuse.
But that's not the only thing to...
Exactly. How about there is tea, we have our boniki balm, we have...
But some persons will also argue with that. The kind of filter that the cigarettes there has, the ones they take this way doesn't have it. And there are some things, I don't know, I do a lot of research and a lot of investigations.
Yes.
There is this saying that there are things that they take after smoking that cleans their heart. Yes.
Heart or lungs?
Lungs, I beg your pardon, lungs.
Okay.
Yes, that clean up their lungs.
Are you
because
sure?
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what research show. You can actually research it after the show. So smokers are liable to die young. So it's a matter of choice. Anyone can actually make that choice.
Yes, they can, but just try as much as possible. They've said it at the park that smokers are liable to die young. For someone that will tell you, Jimai, I'm 60 or 50 and I still, please, you can stop. You can actually stop. All right, next is the Hope newspaper, and Ramsey will run us through that paper.
All right, the Hope newspaper may be our last for today. Now, this one says, Reps probe CBN, NNPCL over unremitted operating surplus. All right, this one is not a fake agency, but I think it sounds like a diversion of public fund. Then the writer says demands records of outstanding remittance, MDA accounts deductions from OAGF. The committee queried CBN's alleged 5.3 trillion naira debt, UPEC fund withdrawals. And of course, this one says the big story now, which is the star story. But before the big story, Ondo begins statewide livestock vaccination against major disease. I also have this one which says ITF screens 250,000 artisans nationwide for skill acquisition. Growing up, I used to see a caravan parked somewhere and they would write NDE, National Directorate of Employment, where they train people on hairdressing, so many things. But I don't know if those things are still functional the way it used to be. A court orders arrest of fake agency DG at DME housing federal government to provide land for 10,000 home projects. A custom seizes 26.57 billion naira cannabis hidden in imported vehicles at Apapa port. These people are exploring every means. Headless woman body found in Ondo community. Police launch investigation to unravel killers. UK-based Nigerian mom dies by suicide after mental health struggle. Even in the US, right, Nigerians are very strong people. The big story now, the star story, which is going to be the last on the Hope newspaper. Tinubu seeks constitutional backing for state police. Two riders to that story and we'll be done with the headlines for this morning. Transmits 2026 constitutional amendment bill to House of Representatives. Urges speedy passage to strengthen Nigeria's security architecture. And of course, those are the headlines for you on the Hope this morning. And this is the size of the newspaper review for today. If any of these papers interest you, you can pick a copy of it and go through it. And others that we were not able to take, they are all available to you. We also want to let you know that Global Television does not have an editorial contribution to these national dailies. It is entirely the property of the newspaper houses. A quick break now. After this break, Ogochukwu Mobuno will be coming up with Social Buzz. Stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability, with a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues around the world on social media. Today we're looking at the self-proclaimed Director General of the non-existent Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, PFIPC, Adeniyi Adeyemi, has been arrested. Adeyemi was apprehended on Tuesday shortly after Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court in Abuja issued a warrant for his arrest. Authorities said the PFIPC is not a recognized government agency. Let's take a look at some comments concerning this particular report, and the first comment is coming from Cruz O'Clock. And Cruz says, I don't believe he did this alone without the people in power. Next comment is coming from Joy Enemo. Enemo says, this nation is a joke. How did he get the fake ministry inside the yearly budget? How did he employ people to work for him, invading the cap on no federal government? How was he able to receive different diplomats using his fake ministry? How was he funding the big rented office? How was he paid directly from the central bank? This by far is the most corrupt government ever in history. All right, thank you everyone for dropping your comments. Of course, we're talking about Adeniyi and the fake agency, and since we started talking about this fake agency, it's actually been, I do not want to join the many Nigerians who say that Nigeria is a joke, because I don't want to believe that a sovereign nation who fought so hard for independence, has been independent over 60 years, is a joke. With the executive, the judiciary, and also the legislative, I don't want to think it's a joke. But honestly, it is, the more you look, the less you see sometimes in Nigeria. Well, I'm not alone this morning. I have with me Jumai Manson. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Hi, Ogochukwu Mobono. It's great to be here. It's great to be on the program with you side by side doing this. And this is a very funny report. I've been laughing when I From when the news broke, I have been laughing all through, because it's unbelievable to me that in Nigeria, this actually happened. Seriously, a fake agency with monies in the budget. Like, are you kidding me? Someone comes out, he's a fake director general of an agency, and it's believable at some point, while others say is a deal gone wrong. Many individuals have done this, gotten away with this. Our eyes are being opened to this. It's just unfortunate that this is where we are. This is the height of corrupt practices in Nigeria.
All right, so, Mr. Adeniyi has been calling, he said he's going to spill the tea.
Yeah, he said.
Let everywhere scatter at this point. So he has been calling names, and I believe him. I don't know if those names are correct, but then I believe that he did not do this alone. You cannot set up such an agency alone, a government agency. How did you get those stamps? Because you have to get it stamped correctly. How were you able to open an account, and how did the central bank give you a loan of over 400 million naira to set up that agency? So there are some persons that are yet to show for themselves, and I hope that they actually, become exposed, because honestly, he said he's ready to answer to the ICPC, he's ready to answer to EFCC, and anybody that wants to interrogate him, he's ready for that. But who are the people behind this agency? This person is just a figurehead. So far as I'm concerned, yes, we're just put in there, sit down here and man this thing for us. But the main people are the people that are yet to be exposed.
Exactly.
But do you think there are people really behind it?
Of course. It takes someone that already knows the rigors to understand that, okay, this is the due process when it comes to, being an agency and sneaking it in the budget for people to think that it's of a non-existent agency. There's someone that knows how it's done. I don't think, for me, I'm just saying I don't think this is the first time. I feel that there are other agencies that are fake that have gone through this and they've gotten away with it. Because the CBN is something that you can't just swoop such under their nose, because it's a very sensitive document. They have to go through it. We have procurement officers who are involved, who will have to actually go through your documents, individuals. It takes a lot. So for this to actually go so smoothly at this point, has already gone. It's just unfortunate that someone was just, I still say someone was hurt along the way.
Honestly,
because this is a deal going
I feel bad for him at some point.
I feel
it has been running smoothly since 2024.
It has. That's the thing. 2 years. It has
each year they give him money. Like, there's a budget.
There's a budget.
I still feel bad for him.
This is a deal gone wrong. Someone was just greedy, and this happens. I'm not in support of corruption, yes, but this is just a deal gone wrong. But I think at the same time, they say 100 days for the thief, 1 day for the owner. So this is Nigeria now. We getting justice, because all of this money could be used for something more beneficial to Nigeria and Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians are in stark poverty. A lot of Nigerians can't even afford 3 square meals a day. A lot of Nigerians cannot even, they are unemployed. A lot of Nigerians, they are the breadwinners of their families. Their mothers, their father, it took a toll on them to train these individuals, and there are no jobs. So this money would have been done for something much more better. So if you're out there and you're saying it doesn't concern me, it concerns you, because it is our money. It would have been done to impact your life or the life of your relative that could impact your life in one way or the other. So this is just unfortunate. So this is the judgment for Nigeria. And I pray the needful is done, because now it has been adjourned to September 9th, and we have to follow up on this case. But it's a long time, and you just wonder, and you say to yourself, is this how I hope it's not going to be swept under the carpet. These big names that have been called, a very sensitive name, the chief of staff to the president, that is big. And my co-host said something this morning. He said, Juma, is it possible that Femi Gbajabiamila is involved in this and the president is he doesn't know? It's possible that the president might not even know.
Honestly,
it's very possible, because he might just be running this on his own. You know how it is when you want to run it. I don't know what to say.
It's possible. We've seen helps in their house, even helps in their house that run things on their own. You're trying to help them, and maybe they're stealing from you.
Going to the market,
your own. How? When they go to the market, they're increasing the prices.
It doesn't matter what you do. So you might be doing so much of people around you, and yet they'll be trying as much as possible to
bring you down.
Not even to bring down. They say it's every man for themselves. But at the same time, you don't have to be greedy about it. You don't have that a lot. And well,
setting up a fake agency is a lot, to be very honest.
It takes a lot of planning,
a lot of planning.
You have to cover all your tracks.
To be very honest.
You have to be sure that you understand that this involves the federal government. If you are caught, that is the end. So all your tracks need to be covered. You have to settle the need for. Please, I've never done this before. It's not that I made research. It's okay. No comment.
Talking about all of that, it doesn't just take one tree to make a forest.
No, it doesn't.
Several others.
Of course.
You are going to look at someone from, from the CBN. They have to interrogate.
Of course.
In the Senate, because
of course,
the one that look into the bills and all of that.
Yes.
And when it comes to budgets too. So how come that they've been allocating to this particular agency and no one ever tried to check where is this agency coming from, who is in charge, and even interrogate anybody in that agency? How was this person able to get staff in that agency, and it's working in the federal secretariat?
Exactly. And you know, there is a lot when it comes to this Ogo. It's just unfortunate that, well, for him, it's unfortunate that. Because, it takes, like I said, it takes a lot of planning, it takes a lot of, individual, but it's just, it's just unfortunate. But at the same time, the needful should be done. This is...
I'm only scared that, they actually pushed this to September, they moved it to September 9th. That's my fear, because we have August in between and we're still in July. We're just
because investigations, because of the spare of investigations that will take place, and he is saying he wants an independent investigation. I think you get more truth out of it, because it feels like he says he came out and he's appealing to our dear President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, saying that his life is in danger and all of that, which is true. Of course, you can't bring someone that his life has to be. That's how you say. So the thing is, for me, I think we have individuals, like if we had like the Puta panel should be set up or something like that. People, we have some really amazing justices out there, who are very, very neat in when it comes to this sort of issue. They have integrity, they have worth. They're individuals who want to do the right thing and who will not along the way bend. They should set up panels to investigate. Individual investigations, for me, I think is the best, because you get more truth from it. Everyone wants to clear their name, so just say the truth and let the truth set you free. And some are saying they should bring individuals from international bodies to come, but I think this is something that we can handle on our own if we do the needful, and the right thing should be done. This is serious.
Of course, the needful will be done. This agency has been exposed, and yes, this is a lesson to every other agency, fake agency there, claiming that they are true. Just know that one day is for you, 100 days for the thief, and 1 day for the owner. All right, thank you so much, Jomai Mansin, for your contribution to today's topic.
You're welcome.
And yes, this is where we close the curtains for Social Buzz on Global Morning. I'll be leaving in the hands of Jomai and Ramsey as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. So stay with us. I am Okochukwu Mobino. And once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back to school footwear, all crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Aerogym shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Aerogym Shoe Factory, excellence.
very much on the studio.
Thank you, everyone. It's now time for us to get into the first conversation for the day. I want to look at the numerous litigations that we've heard with this administration. Well, some persons may argue that it's not just with this administration, that it's common, of course, to every administration. But I think we've heard it more with this administration, and we are going to look at the implication, the impact, the effect, okay, on the political parties and, of course, INEC. Because there have been a lot of ups and downs today, instruction coming from the court, judgment coming from the court instructing INEC to do this, to do that. Can we see that as a distraction as we speak? If you ask me, I can't categorically say I know the fate of ADC come 2027. I can't say. But then, looking at these litigations and its implication on the political parties in INEC, we'll have someone who is joining us on the program today, and the person of Kola Alapini. Kola is a legal practitioner, a human rights lawyer, and the U.S. Secretary of State awardee on international religious freedom. And he is right here today to give a perspective to this conversation. It's good to have you join us on the program, Kola.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Kola, for being here.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, let's get into the conversation now. This administration, not just this administration, a lot of litigations as far as this administration is concerned, beginning from 2023, where it was being said that the ruling party have said, well, if you're not satisfied with anything as it has to do with the elections, go to court. And at a point, it became a slogan in Nigeria. But just like a joke, we had different court cases, different litigations, and all till now, as we speak, there are still other litigations going on until even the day before yesterday or yesterday, when the court judgment came, and that INEC should not recognize the ADC convention that was held, the one led by the David Mark faction. That's an issue. So what do you think? Do you think we've had too much litigations in with this administration, or you feel no litigation is too much?
Well, first and foremost, I must say that it's quite unfortunate that the situation which we found ourselves in Nigeria is the situation of go to court. Because in a country where everything works well, the court is supposed to be the last resort of a common man. You go there for succor. You go there because you know that someone will listen to you. And if they do listen to you, they will listen to you dispassionately and weigh the evidence and then make a decision. So therefore, a court is a place of equality and equity. But when the slogan "go to court" is used in Nigeria, it's worrisome. It means that you're going to be tied in litigation for the next 10 years. And so I'm afraid when someone says go to court in Nigeria, you have to look for a quick way of resolving the situation. You're going to be in a logjam. And that is a sorry state of where we are. The electioneering system has been weaponized. If you don't have the funds to challenge a victory in court, you could watch your victory slip away from your hands. And I'll give you the examples of people who had the means to mount a robust challenge and win their mandate. Oshomole was one of them, as governor of Edo State. Former governor of Imo State, Rochas, when he won his senatorial elections, someone was trying to play with his head in INEC and everything. He had to go to court and really challenge them to give him his certificate of return. Another person that probably comes to mind in one of the big wigs is Natasha. She was fighting a uphill battle against the former governor, and they threw everything at her. So if you don't have the means to mount a robust challenge, you ain't going nowhere. Look at the incumbent governor of Imo State as well, who was a former senator. I mean, he had the means to mount a robust challenge against his contender, who was a former deputy speaker as well. So it was a battle of the titans, a clash of titans, so to speak. We know all these big cases because there are big names involved. You know, hundreds of others who didn't have the means to mount a robust legal challenge and they lost their mandate. So that's the challenge which we have now. With all this, I don't want to use the word absurd. It's not proper to call the court as being absurd. But people are not happy. Let's just say that. Because, and that's the truth. Our judges are usually isolated. They don't mingle with the public so as not to be biased in their decisions and all. But in a situation where, in law, we have the principle of stare decisis, which means if a higher court has made a pronouncement or decided on something, it would form a precedent, so that courts behind will fall in line. You cannot be giving decisions it's adverse to your superior, because the court above you is your superior. We call it the court upstairs. It's your superior, it's your senior. So your senior is saying, this is the way to go, you have to fall in line. I'm trying to use pedestrian language so that our viewers will understand. I want to make it as simple as possible. So if your senior is saying, no, this is the way we've decided, that's the way we'll go, senior main court of appeal, I find it a bit challenging that the Federal High Court will try to overrule the Court of Appeal. It's not done. And then if you now become disgruntled as a litigant, of course you would want to go on appeal to challenge it and say, look at what your junior brother has done. Have you not decided this earlier before? And we all know that this is the law. He has undone what you have done. Then the Court of Appeal, who is the older brother, when I was smacking on the hand, so what's wrong with you? I told you this is the way we are going to go. And then you have that back and forth. I'm trying to simplify what has happened, where the Federal High Court's judgment and everything. And so you have that back and forth. In the meantime, election timetable is running. Electorates are getting confused. Is it going to be on the ballot or not? Is it? And they are eager because you're only as good as the elections you won. Once you lose elections, the phone stops ringing. People stop coming to your door because you don't have the political power to solve issues. The people who are flocking at your door, where your front of your door be like a mosque, everybody they drop slippers and shoes and everything, queuing to see you, is because you can resolve issues. If you cannot resolve issues, what are they coming to do? That's human nature. Immediately you vacate that position of power and someone else occupies it, the crowd is going to dry. So I guess I'll leave it to you to take it from there. Let me just
all right.
summarize it.
You've spoken very well. You've touched a lot of angles. Now, these issues keep coming. Do you think, because for ADC, for instance, we can't say they don't have a legal team. Some persons were saying there were handwritings on the wall and that the legal team would have advised. Whatever that is happening to ADC now, all right, because they said there was a flaunting of a court order which has resulted to this whole macquarie. Now, as it is, what do you think of these legal advisors? Because lawyers like you would be involved. If you were the legal advisor of ADC, do you think this would have happened? And what do you think went wrong? Why did those people? Because they had them there because of situations like this. I'm not disputing the fact that Derimark, Amechi, Aregbesola, Atiku are big names in politics. They are not babies that are supposed to know certain things, which is part of the things that Nigerians are saying, but they still fell for this trap. So can we now blame the legal team who are supposed to advise appropriately that they have failed?
Okay, the legal advisors are my colleagues. They're all colleagues in the profession. Probably some of them are friends, some of them are external, some of them went to law school together, they were external solicitors. You can give advice. It's left to your principal to take the advice or not. You can, if you think you're ill and you go to the hospital, the doctor prescribes. A lot of times people get home and they don't use that prescription the way the doctor asks them to use it, or they don't even use it at all. Some people prefer native medication. I have people who would rather use agbo, the native herbs, to treat malaria than to be using the medication from the pharmacy. And some of them have very big conspiracy theories. They tell you the pharmaceutical companies are compromised, and they even manufacture or put different strains of these things in there, and to make you dependent on the drugs, or to make the drugs don't work as much as they would have. The parasites are developing resistance, so they just go native. Mosquito no sabi, don't go arrow. So, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's up to you. You give the legal advice. They can follow, they cannot follow. They may overrule you. They may even talk you down in the meetings when you're prescribing this advice. The problem which these various parties and litigation have found themselves is not a legal question. It's not a legal problem. That's the part which you're not averting your eyes to. It's not a legal question. It's a political question. And it has to be resolved in a political way. There's only so much that the courtroom can do. As far as I'm concerned, I think all this going to court and coming back is a delay tactic. It's a Confucianist theory. It's, you know, like when you scatter the maize on the ground and just toss it a bit of a distance so that the fowl will just chase after it and keep this way open so that you can go. That's just what's happening. You know, you have, you know, a pack of wolves or dogs, for instance, and you just fling meat their way and allow you to pass. That's what the incumbent is doing. And they've admitted to it, that whether directly or indirectly, that they're behind the destabilization of the other parties. This is the most unpopular president we've had since the history of our country. And the quickest and easiest way to find out how unpopular he is to look at the number of votes that brought him into power. Because if all the other parties were united, or even if Obi and Atiku had been united, then they would have defeated him. As I said, they just threw the maize that way, and all of them just fell for it, and they allowed it to pass narrowly, just enough to qualify. So they have themselves to blame.
So I want to ask a question. I know before Ramsey interjects, you know, we've spoken about the court, we've spoken about politicians, we've spoken about individuals and all of that. How do these different individuals come to a table where judgment is given by the court, politicians are happy, citizens also are happy, where there is transparency, accountability, and credibility, so that there can be a balance? How as a legal practitioner, how do you think that balance can just come to a table and everyone is happy at the end of the day, instead of this confusion here and there, no more delay tactics, verdict is given to this individual, the next thing you know it's annulled, and then all of that confusion that is setting in at the moment?
Elections have consequences. So you just have to ensure that it's the very best and brightest that emerge. I'll give you an example of a couple of countries in the West. The UK being the primary example which I gave. I went to school there, I lived there, I know the system like the back of my hand. It's very odd, unusual, for you to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom if you didn't go to Oxford or Cambridge.
Is that the criteria?
It's not, but that's the norm.
Really?
Yes. You would have gone to Oxford or Cambridge. You will have been a member of the Oxford or Cambridge Debating Society. So you will have been honing your skills since you were like 17, 16.
Making yourself known.
And practice. Honing your skills, debating skills, sticking to the subject, sticking to the purpose, arguing in a very pleasant manner. That's the way they do it. Argument is no be do or die abroad. You argue, you can tell, there are many ways you can tell somebody to F off. without spelling it out. And the British are experts at that. And you look at their parliamentary debates as well, in parliament and all that. They can yell or do everything at the top of their voices and all, but it will never go into a rowdy session. They will not be throwing punches on, because the skill has been honed over the years. So you don't become the Prime Minister of the UK by accident. It's a long preparatory journey. The kind of primary school your parents will have placed you, the preparatory school. Some will take you to a private school, known as a public school. So it's not a coincidence that you find out that people who have become prime ministers in England have gone to a certain school, either you went to Harrow or Eton or something. That's the trajectory. And then you would go to Oxford or Cambridge. Yeah, you have a few that will have gone to some of the lesser known schools, but it's not an accident that Oxford and Cambridge produce the highest number of prime ministers. Then look at the quality of candidates who come out to contest in the US as well, and the debating skills. Look at a country like Canada, who is being ruled now by a former governor of the Bank of England. He actually was governor of the Bank of Canada, and he was the first person ever that the British entrusted their treasury to who was not British. He was one who broke the jinx. They recruited him from Canada to come and fix the economy after the global meltdown that happened many years ago. That was what, so he brought the thing, he stabilized the economy, the pound became stronger again, and he found new ambition in running for the Prime Minister of Canada. So those are examples of serious countries. So when you bring in questionable people, I'll use a recent example. A certain minister of in this government was indicted for not finishing. He went to university. He did not graduate, allegedly. He forges his BSc certificate. He allegedly forges his NYSC certificate and ends up in government in Nigeria. And when the Premium Times released the report, he initially tried to deny, he tried to stifle it, but they proceeded under the Freedom of Information Act, and the Vice Chancellor of that university was cooperative and released the result that this is not authenticated by us, this does not come from us, it's a fake result. So the gatekeeper was alert to his duty. So he had no choice but to resign. But the Nigerian spirit, they call it resilient spirit, relentless spirit, the audacity, when the guy still wants to contest for governor because nothing was done to him. He was not penalized. As he was resigning, he ought to have been arrested and questioned. But we've turned our police into carrying handbags for first ladies and everything. You see a whole DSP, a whole deputy superintendent of police standing behind one man, whether he's a governor or this, and he's pulling chairs. That's what we reduced a whole deputy superintendent of police to in Nigeria. And look at the wives too, first wives, and a whole DSP, whether Namakuru or something, or ASP, is carrying one bag for someone.
To all fairness now, they've actually stopped all of that.
I haven't seen it stop. It's still happening. Just wait till any of these politicians are coming to your studio and you escort them.
We have not seen, and we've seen politicians corrupt.
Okay.
To all fairness,
I have a constitutional right. It's my opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I am stating what I've seen.
Okay.
And so when you debase the police to that level and you defang them, they become confused. They don't even know what their duties are anymore. They just think, that's why all of them are all struggling to be posted to embassies and high commissions and oil companies and stuff's landing and follow politicians. Okay? So those are the issues. Gatekeepers are not alive to their duties. And when they try to be alive, they become mischievous like INEC has.
So you say INEC is becoming mischievous?
It is mischievous.
How?
Because of some of the decisions which they've done, they just... Yes, INEC suffers a trust deficit. But they've compounded it more. Under the previous chairman, we voted for, up until these elections, this man is asking for like 800 billion. That's almost $1 trillion naira. The previous man, the professor that was there previously, got over 500 million to conduct a farce. He was a sham. The last elections, he had promised heaven on earth electronic transmission of results, and we use IRF, we use this, we use VAR, we do this, blah, blah, blah. And they switched off the server, or the server refused to work. He worked with the governorship, and when he came to presidency, it went blank. So the gatekeeper is not alive to his duty, and when he tries to be alive to his duty, he is mischievous. And that's why you're having a back and forth with this new one, whether uploading details of party members, and then the registering, and how did a regulator become so enmeshed? How did a regulator become so enmeshed in litigation? INEC is supposed to be a regulator. He's not a litigator. INEC is not a party. It's not a political party, and it's not one of the parties there. But the way INEC has conducted itself, it makes people really wonder what's going on. Are you there for our interest, or you are there on behalf of someone? So because it seems as if they're acting out a script, and that is what is making people disgruntled. So we don't have you're asking me how did we get here and how can we resolve it?
Yes.
This is the right candidates. We don't make sure that the right candidates get there. It's one skeleton in the cupboard or the other. The person doesn't have, and the presidency of Nigeria is one of the lowest hanging fruits in the world. You just need a primary 6 certificate to be president of the biggest black nation in the world. True. And the way how can you now be competing with people who went to Oxford and Cambridge when all you have is primary 6? As a matter of fact, you don't need primary 6. Let me shock you. If you dig deeper into the Constitution, part of the exemption, you know there's a general rule. If you go into the Constitution, there's a general rule, this is where you need to qualify to be president. Then buried deeper behind, if you go to the exemption clauses, it is an INEC official that determines who is going to be president of Nigeria. All he needs to do is you can speak English to his satisfaction. You can write legibly, and you've done some courses. That's all you need to be president of Nigeria.
Well, let me ask you a question. What's your take on the INEC chairman, that is Josh Amopitan? A lot of controversy surrounding him being the INEC chair. What's your take? Do you think he's competent? Do you think he's credible? Do you think he has what it takes to deliver in 2027 election night?
Remember, he's your colleague. He's a son.
Exactly.
I started part of my university at the University of Jos over 30 years ago. The INEC chairman was a lecturer there. He didn't teach me directly.
That's Josh Amopitan now.
It was Mr. Amopitan then.
Mr. Okay.
Yes, it was Mr. Amopitan then in 92, 93. I think he had just finished his master's. He had finished his PhD. And from what I know of him, he's reserved. He's not very loud. He's reserved and calm. And some of my colleagues, I didn't finish at the University of Jos, I transferred to the University of Ibadan. Okay. And some of my colleagues who, of course, stayed behind, he later lectured them. And everybody seems to say good things about him. Apart from that, he's a professor of evidence. He taught evidence law at some point in time. Okay. Yeah, so I'm telling you my memory of him from like 30 years ago. That's what I knew of him. So when I heard that he was going to be made INEC chairman, I thought there was some hope for INEC.
You thought?
Yes.
Do you still think so now?
I think INEC suffers a huge trust deficit. First was the issue of whether it was partisan or not, and some tweets, and it did, and then they came up with a lot to say he doesn't use social media, etc. And I don't think that's true, because if you listen to one of the first exclusive interviews he did with journalists in Nigeria, he did it with your colleague, Dr. Abati, Ruben Abati of Arise, and he said like 2 or 3 times, I had it on social media. I read it on social media. So Prof does use social media.
Yes, he does.
By his own admission. So all that denial and rebuttal by INEC does not hold water. That interview is a minefield of information, an information trove that a sharp lawyer has more than enough evidence to nail the professor of evidence. And how did people get your email? How did they get your phone number?
Exactly.
So those are the issues. But you can see he's gone very quiet these days. He's not really been talking. Some of the media advisors would have told him, just keep your head low, duck behind the parapet. I hope for the sake of our country, that he is able to deliver credible elections.
Let me just ask a quick question.
I wanted to do a follow-up to what
I know. Let's talk about, of course we know the INEC chairman, he is a senior advocate of Nigeria. And most of these interferences, do you think it has to do with the fact that he's sad? Maybe that's why he wants to interfere and say this and, being part of, talking about conventions, committee in that capacity?
It has nothing to do with being a senior advocate of Nigeria. A senior advocate of Nigeria is given to you, it's a privilege by the LPPC, the Legal Practitioners Committee, Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee. So it's a rank. It's not even the highest rank in the legal practitioner, in the legal profession. The highest rank is a bencher. If you're a member of the body of benchers, that's the highest level of distinction in Nigeria. But a lot of people don't know because SANs are always the one throwing their stuff. If an SAN at a bencher meeting court, the bencher's case will be called first because it's higher in rank. The benchers are in charge of legal education in Nigeria. Those are the custodians of the legal profession. Yeah, they make sure that you're admitted into the law school if you're fit and proper. They also make sure that you produce a lawyer who is fit and proper to be released into society. So they are the custodians of legal profession and tradition. So I don't think being an SAN, the job which he's doing is not a legal job. It's an umpire's job.
Yes, it is.
So it's not, if you have a sound knowledge of law, it helps. I don't know if that helps in all the confusion that we're having now.
All right, let me come in now, Barrister. As a matter of fact, I want to pick it back from what you said. Your history of Joash Amopitan's son. You've known him for a while, and you've testified of how cool and reserved he was. Now, a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians feel there are some positions that if you get into, whether you like it or not, you will change. All right? Maybe because of influence or because of inducement, financial inducement, as the case may be. Can we now say that maybe the litigations, the judges, the judgment from the courts are maybe interference by the judiciary may have had an impact on Amopitan going into 2027, as it has to do with the preparedness of INEC, because 2027 is around the corner, and look at all of this, a lot of distractions. Now he's even gone silent somehow, So what do you think could be responsible, and how can we remedy it? Because we're talking for Nigerians, the electorate.
Unfortunately, I didn't get your question. You have to make it simpler for me. I heard something inducement, and as soon as I had inducement, I froze. I don't want to get into trouble before. So, please
do you think Amopitan changed, all right, maybe because of the office, due to the court judgments, which may have served as distraction or influence from the judiciary?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Prof himself. He's probably the best person to be able to,
But is it possible?
The human being is one of the most fluid animals that have been created on this planet. You can change your mind. It's a constitutional right. I told you earlier, the right to hold opinion. You can be convinced in the morning that, the cold that comes in Abuja after a heavy rainfall is as good as the cold that comes during the Harmattan. And in the evening, you can change your mind and say, no, it wasn't as cold as that. No doubt, the legal profession doesn't come out of this smelling of roses. We have to own up and take the blame. And it's becoming a fashion now. A remember June 12 elections was annulled by a judge late in the night, Justice Basi Bame. We must mention her name to put things in proper perspective. And that threw the whole country into chaos.
Yes, it did.
We also had the judiciary trying to restore faith back in our system. There was another female judge, Justice Dolapo Akinsanya of the Lagos High Court and the Ikeja High Court, who annulled the Shoneko administration, the interim government then of Chief Ernest Shoneko, and said this is an aberration, it's unknown and unconstitutional. And it was the basis of that General Sani Abacha moved in and said, you know, you're illegal, we can't leave the country rudderless. So in the last 30 years, 33 years, this has put us in bad light. And decisions from the courts, injunctions and this and that. I think it was a Goodluck Jonathan second attempt at presidency that was the most peaceful transition in recent times, because he refused to go to court. He didn't. The party, I think, went to court later as a party because they have their own interest to protect. And so, well, if you're not going to court as a presidential candidate, we, the party, were going to go to court. I think that was wrong. The main flag bearer, the person who was going to win you the votes himself, has said, you know what, my blood is not worth any Nigerian being killed. Let's just end all these. They put a call through to the late general, and everything was smooth. And that's the way it should be. You don't hear ordinarily the British going to court to go and be contesting elections. You know, I think maybe this is more of a presidential system kind of thing, because the first one that I know in recent times was the Al Gore versus George Bush in 2000, 2001, and it was a very rancorous period. And then, of course, the incumbent in the United States who was gone to court to say that the election was stolen, etc. So the judiciary doesn't look good. That's just the long and short of it. We don't come out of it smelling of roses. And I think it is important for the CJN, the Chief Justice, to probably call a retreat, tete-a-tete with these judges. And there should also be strict discipline. There's the NJC, that's the job of the NJC, National Judicial Commission. They are the ones who can discipline a judge. Maybe there might be some sort of extraordinary meeting, or quickly called, so that we don't run into hitches or trouble for next year, where a single judge or a panel of judges would overturn the wishes of the people, and apart from putting the country into a situation of unrest and everything, it also undermines the credibility of whoever the courtroom awards the elections to, because you don't have the social capital from the people. You don't have that electoral capital. You don't have the, you can't. Technical victory, like when someone came forth on the ballot and was declared governor for technicality, because he was able to adduce evidence that from a policeman who is an officer of the law that this was what happened, and then they just ruled him. And then he keeps calling him the Supreme Court governor, even almost 8 years after. Yeah, because everybody is not seen to be there via votes, via electoral goodwill, via social contract. He's being seen to be there as a usurper and installed by the court. So every time, especially during this first time, they used to call him Supreme Court governor. You guys are aware of this. They used to yab him a lot online as Supreme Court governor, Supreme Court governor. So that's what we risk, because it means that we're going to start having, we already have having cut-in-post politicians. So the politician now knows that he needs to have a judge.
Great. Time is up. Unfortunately, we won't be able to entertain more questions. It's interesting. what it means is that we would have you again.
Definitely.
Because this conversation, I've not landed too many questions in our hearts to ask right now. Because of our time, we won't be able to ask those questions.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Barrister Kola, for coming on the program. For coming on the program today. We hope to have you again. Thanks for joining us. All right, everyone, this is the size of the first conversation for you today. We've been able to look at the litigations in the country, its impact, implication on the political parties like ADC, NDC, and the rest of them, then INEC's preparedness as we work towards 2027. More conversations coming on your way after this break as we look at the economy of this nation. That could also be a problem in 2027. But then, how are we faring economically? That will come up after this break. Stay with us.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On global television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Abo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Witchtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Witchtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Witchtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time. Choose Aerogym shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@aerogym.com. Website www.aerogymdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
Well, it's now time for us to look at the economy of the nation. I know anytime you talk about the economy, a lot of people think about what actually happened when this administration came into office. But the economy is beyond that. We look at the state of Nigeria economy. Where are we? Where are we heading? What's the way forward? Are we improving? Are we growing? We look at the impact of the tax in the economy, probably look at the stock, and a whole lot. And we have an expert to be talking to us, an economist and a financial expert who is going to be talking to us on the program this morning to bring a perspective, to drive home the conversation. We have today, as we look at the state of the economy, examining the current state of the economy and the way forward. We have Steve Nwankwo, who is an economist and a financial expert, all right, and he's going to be joining us today. The CEO of Steward Asset Management Limited is joining us. It's good to have you join us on the program this morning, Steve.
Good morning and thanks for having me. That's Steve Nwachukwu, not Nwankwo.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Steve.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Let's get into the conversation now. Are you excited with the state of the Nigerian economy at the moment?
Okay, thank you. I love your intro. The economy did not start in this present administration. It has been over the years we have been experiencing either ups or downs, or economic growth, or economic prosperity, or economic downturns. But the current state of, when you use the word current, it means the current state of the affairs of the economy. That's what I possibly will be looking at, and how we got to this very point. Yes, of course, this administration actually received a very fragile, shaky, weak economy, and their job actually was to perhaps revamp, and bring some level of relief to Nigerians, than to turn some of the economic policies, which to some of us, most of these economic policies are not evil intended, but somehow it was ill conceived, ill implemented, and was not segmented. That's why we are feeling the negative impact of such economic policies at present, which may also in time to come in future better the lives of Nigerians. But as we speak, yes, of course, they met and received, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration received or met a very fragile, weak and shaky economy, and he has not done well actually to stabilize the system or to bring us to that very point we can say we are in economic prosperity than economic downturn. Thank you.
Yes. Are the major factors contributing to the current economic challenges when it comes to inflation, when it comes to unemployment, when it comes to the current economic hardship in the country?
Pardon, I didn't get that question.
What do you think are the current economic challenges when it comes to unemployment, when it comes to inflation, when it comes to insecurity, and of course economic hardship in the country? What do you think are the economic challenges surrounding all of that?
Okay, they are possibly the legacy issues. We've had around energy, cost of energy, raising the cost of production, and legacy issues around the physical measures of physical structures and monetary structures that are not healthy, that are not supportive of growth. To take, for instance, the issues around the current interest rate regime, where we have a very exacerbated interest rate regime, currently above 25%, which is not supportive of growth. Leads to this very issue of high cost of production, because lending costs have been exacerbated to this very point that even the entrepreneurs, small businesses, can hardly walk down to banks to raise this very money to further their dreams or to project their ideas or to even strive in their line of business. So current interest rate regime is not healthy. It has exacerbated the current economic situation or measures that Nigerians are passing through. Also, the exchange rate regime is not also supportive of growth, in the sense that we are having an exchange rate above 1,300 or 1,350, which has led to some of these very imported inflation, because an average manufacturer who wants one raw material or the other, or those imports, has to put in the cost implication of the exchange rate, which is above 1,300, and this is what is rising this cost of goods and services and commodities we are engaging. Also, we also have these legacy issues around the energy costs. Energy costs has been one major issue that an average manufacturer or entrepreneurs are facing. Cost of energy is too high and unstable energy supply. We need a regime, or we need to rejig the policy, national policies around this. For instance, what is our existing national policy on gas to power? We need to rejig that to make sure we guarantee gas supply to these very power generating companies. Government also needs to increase investment in the transmission lines. What we have now is issues around the transmissions, because the generation we have a generating capacity over 15,000 megawatts, but we are only evacuating around 3,000 to 3,500, or sometime we touch 4,000. So we need to make a greater investment in the transmission. Once we make a greater in transmissions, we can now guarantee electricity so that the distribution companies can now supply, and we have this very possibly a relief in the form of granting power supply to Nigerians, and make sure that there is an application of cost reflective tariff. So these are basically the legacy issues that have risen this very unemployment, that have affected manufacturers and have shifted the growth we are witnessing, having a lopsided growth in the sense that the service sector, based on the last number from the NPS, the GDP shows that the GDP is actually growing, but it's been dominated by the service sector, which has little or nothing to contribute in taking Nigerians out of the labor force. So these are the legacy issues that needs to be tackled, and these are the legacy issues. With this administration did not meet it. Like I say, use the word is a legacy issues. There are legacy problems we'll be having, and we need to deal with it. Thank you.
The government didn't do what they are supposed to do, and you just talked about it now. You talked about the forex, that's the exchange rate, where it is that is not supposed to be there. What do you think can be done to make sure the exchange rate is better? And if it is better, what's going to be the impact?
Okay, thank you. That's an excellent question. I think we need to ask ourselves the honest truth question. What is the challenges? What are the contending factors around our exchange rate regime? We have issue of an economy. Like I said again, it's a legacy issue. This government met it. So it's a problem that has been within the last 30, 40 years. And we need to deal with it. So issues around dependent on importation. That is what is exacerbating our exchange rate regime. We are an import nation, so that's these conversations around moving from consumptions to production needs to be triggered. How do you trigger it? How do you actualize it? By making sure you implement or aggressively apply any policy measures around backward integration program and import substitution program. That's the only way you can have a relief, or you can have a better exchange rate or a better naira that can compete with any other exchange around the globe. So when we move away from these consumptions, by running a program also for the citizens to, cut their appetite for foreign made products, we are almost buying everything foreign. So if we can first standardize the production, increase production, and make these very products and services that we demand abroad available locally, then you run a program to sensitize Nigerians to abide the culture of buying made in Nigerian program or made in Nigerian products. So these are the ways to have a relief within our exchange market. Yes, there are policies or fiscal policies and even monetary policies in the past that have also say some level of blockade, some level of restriction of forex to some certain products, some certain items, where you see some prohibition list. A couple of years ago, Central Bank of Nigeria run a program to prohibit some of these very imported items from accessing forex from the official window of the central bank. So these are also good measures. But first you need to improve local capacity, improve local production before you can put a embargo on prohibition list. So if we deal with these very legacy issues, and also make sure that we engage, take the maximum advantage of our areas that we have comparative advantage. Take for instance, the Dangote refinery seems like a messiah for us, but we are not making good use of it. Dangote is still battling in supply of the field stocks, which is the crude oil. Federal government has not been able to trigger some of the sections of the PIA, the Petroleum Industrial Bill or Act, that gives or empowers the NNPC and its agencies to make an adequate supply to local refinery where he has capacity, and to ban importation of such petroleum products. So the petroleum sector or the oil and gas is a key area where we can get some level of relief in our exchange market, but we are not making good use of it. We are still having controversies around supply, controversies around importation, and sometimes I even think that the federal government somehow is incentivizing importation of this very product against the local capacity. We are building a 650,000 Dangote refinery capacity is good enough to compete, or is good enough to feed or to supply the local economy. Thank you.
Owankwo, you are an economist, so of course this question is directed to you because I need your own opinion when it comes to this. Now, what sector of the economy do you think has the greatest potential in driving the future growth of Nigeria, and why?
Okay, basically we need all the sectors to grow, but the potential sectors are those key sectors that drive growth, that drives employment, which is the primary and secondary, which is the agri and the industrial sector. These are the potential sectors that can make the growth or GDP growth organic in nature, in the sense that it engages Nigerians, it provides jobs for Nigerians, and it improves the purchasing power of Nigerians. So the industrial and the agri sectors are actually the very much potential sectors that could drive and expand the economy. Yes, we need the oil and gas sector though to actually improve the economy, because the revenues that we are going to use, or the revenue we are going to raise from the sales of gas and crude, could help us develop these very sectors that I talked about, that could engage millions of Nigerians and take them out of the street. So the agri sector and industrial sectors are the potential sectors that we drive the growth, and organic growth and inclusive growth, the growth that will engage millions of Nigerians and improve our purchasing power. So government needs to maximize the profit available in the oil and gas, maximize the profit and rechannel or redistribute resources that are actually growing in the service sectors, from the point of the growing financial statements or numbers from the banking, from the insurance, from all the financial lines. Channel this money to the industrial and agri sector, in the sense that these are the sectors that needs to drive this growth that we needed. So, and government also needs to perhaps recapitalize the developmental agencies or developmental banks, national developmental banks like the Bank of Agriculture, the Bank of Industry. These are the development institutions that could drive inclusive loan regime, because as we speak, our national credit to GDP is around 14%, and we needed something above a 25% to 30% to drive growth. So when you recapitalize a very strong national institutions like Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, these are key agencies of government that could lend in a single-digit interest rate. Earlier I talked about the exacerbated interest rate regime. If you can recapitalize through more funds to these very national institutions to run national programs that will be inclusive enough to empower, to finance projects, finance ideas, finance entrepreneurial ideas that will create that very job that I earlier talked about within the agri and industrial area, so that we can grow this economy. So to me, these are basically the key sectors that will drive the growth. I'm not saying that we don't need the growth in the service sectors, like we are seeing the very massive growth in the digital economy. We are seeing massive growth contribution to GDP in the telecommunication and the banking. So we all need, but we need to maximize those growth and redistribute whatever resources growing in that sectors and channel it to these very key sectors that will drive this employment I earlier talked about. Thank you.
We've been talking about the government. Let's look at the private sector a little bit. Do you think, or don't you think the private sector in a way can also drive the economy or contribute to economic growth? How do we go about that? Because as a matter of fact, we have people from other countries, foreigners come to invest in Nigeria and all of that. So let's look at the private sector now. How can the government take advantage of the private sector, or probably what should they do so that the private sector can also contribute to economic growth in Nigeria?
Yes, of course, and that gives rooms to the earlier issues I talked about, sustaining policies and programs of government that could drive the organic growth. It's not just the government alone. We need to put formidable, sustainable measures or policies of government that will attract, that will not only attract, incentivize some level of relief, some level of tax relief, and some level of encouragement for private sectors to play within the system. So it's the duty of the government to run at physical and monetary programs or structures that will enable private sectors to thrive. For instance, we are talking about an exacerbated tax regime. So it is also a government policy that perhaps is not encouraging enough for the private sector. So it is the government that will drive policies that will actually drive the growth that is expected in the private sector. In the government also has a lot of benefits if the private sectors are driving. So if the private sectors are growing, the revenue of government or the revenues of this very private sector will also be taxed, and the revenue of government in turn will also receive a greater revenue as a result of engagement of these very private sectors in the economy. So it is first the policy and program of government that will give an enabling environment for businesses to strive. I earlier talked about the basic three legacy challenges, legacy issues around taxation, around high interest rate regime, around energy costs, around exchange rate. If government can address these are the cries of the private sector. These are the challenges that the private sectors are facing. They have issues around the current exchange rate regime of 1,350 and above. They have issues around the exacerbated interest rate regime above 25% interest rates. So, and they also have issues around cost of energy. As we speak, a good number of these companies, both the blue chip companies, are running independent power supplies to their machines or to their factories and industries. They are not depending on the national grid. Some of them have cut off. The likes of Dangote Industries are not in the national grid. The likes of Bua, the likes of Nestle, a good number of these very blue chip companies who has the capacity to equip or to have their independent power plant and make use of it, even to supply to their the local areas where they are operating. So we need a lower energy cost that will encourage private sector to engage in the economy. So first, it is the policy of government that will encourage the private sectors to strive, and the private sector in turn will engage in the economy and grow the economy and see that the GDP is growing and bring prosperity to all. Thank you.
Right, Steve, let me ask this question now. Based on what you just said, how does the state of the economy, all right, reflect the Nigerian stock market?
Okay, if I may answer that, let me say it this way, that the state of the economy is a reflection of the economic reality. So sometimes you can look at it from different perspectives. If you are looking at it from the point of numbers, as we have seen federal government banter numbers around the GDP, you could say yes, we are in a growth trajectory from somewhere around 2.7% where this administration met the GDP to a current position above 3.8% GDP growth. So that's a growth trajectory. But the fact is, if you are speaking about economic prosperity, or you want to just oppose the economic prosperity against economic downturns that Nigerians in reality terms are facing, you will say, yes, of course, Nigerians perhaps are not feeling the gains. Nigerians are not feeling the numbers that are being bantered by the federal government. Then if you can push it further to say what is the realities around the capital market that shows that is a growth. As we speak, the capital market, particularly the NGX, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, have seen an inclusive growth over 60 or 59% growth year to date, which is also attributary to the economic prosperity. One will look at it from two perspectives. First, you can look at it from the perspective of the thriving sectors. Earlier, I talked about the growth in the financial sector that is driving the GDP growth. So what we witness these days is that a good number of people are shutting down their operational lines, and a good number of factories are actually shutting down their operations or reducing their engagement or the operational lines and pushing these funds to the money market instrument and capital market instrument. That's why we are seeing this very massive growth. We have not seen a substantial capital importation or form of foreign direct portfolio or foreign direct investment that could have driven this very massive increase we have witnessed in the capital market. Yes, of course, the fundamentals of these quoted companies are there. Yes, it's giving room to the drive we are seeing, but the fundamental truth or the fundamental thing here is that the exacerbated harsh economic conditions that we have seen or we are witnessing is making it more lucrative. I'm sorry to say this, it's making it more lucrative to play within the money market or to play within the instruments around the capital market than to start up a factory. So that's why I said earlier, some companies are actually reducing their engagements, their expansion drives, and pushing these very funds where they are granted because of this high exacerbated interest rate regime. It's more lucrative to fix your money than to engage in the risk in the production. For an entrepreneur, he could prefer putting his money in a fixed deposit or commercial paper, or put it in the federal government bond or corporate bond, or to buy any of the equities at the capital market, the stock market, because the risk is lower here, but the risk is higher to run a production line. So the manufacturers are facing this. That's why you are seeing this very drive or inflows of money in the capital market. Howbeit, it's a good development to those of us or to those capital market operators who play in this very system. The growth is potential, the growth is also needed, and we need to also balance this growth. That's why I said earlier that the lopsided growth we are witnessing, government needs to run a decisive program to make sure that the growth is balanced. Thank you.
Now, how can the government and the people, how can there be a balance when it comes to these economic challenges that we face in Nigeria, just to streamline? So there's a balance, so there's a win-win for all. As an economist, how do you think we can actually do that?
Oh, there's only one way to it, that it has to be a multi-policy government. It has to be government policies around the social net program. That's the only way you can redistribute national wealth to the people. So government also needs to look at the wage system. Currently, the wage system is not supportive of what you are talking about, in the sense that we still have a minimum wage around 70,000 that can barely sustain a family for 5 days or 1 week. So government needs to review. That's a way to redistribute national wealth to the people or to the citizens. So wage system needs to be reviewed. Government also needs to run some level of welfare programs. Remain that the responsibility of every government is to care for the security and welfare of the people. So that's the main core of any governance or any government. That's their main responsibility, to care for their welfare and to guarantee security for them. So government, nothing stops government to running a very all-inclusive and corrupt-free social welfare program that could see some level of relief to Nigerians. Government needs to target or have a targeted programs in the sense or in form of relieving Nigerians from the cost of transportation. And we have seen the current regime where we have now a zero subsidy program for petroleum products, where we have seen the cost of these petroleum products, particularly the PMS, selling above the reach of the poor. And we have seen that it has increased the cost of movement, cost of transportation. Nothing stops government to run a relief program that could see some mass transit program or mass transit vehicles that could deploy nationwide to reduce the cost of Nigerians moving from point A to point B. These are the welfare program. Nothing also stops government from actually running some level of food bank program. Some of these basic commodities, consumable commodities, government can actually run a program to make sure that the basic staple food like rice, yam, and other basic staple food are sold within these very established, well-structured national banks, food banks, that could see a relative price for Nigerians. So these are, if you are talking about a government that cares for the people, these are dedicated programs.
Thank you very much, Steve, for those explanations. The analysis is very, very key. And of course, our time is up. We can't really continue with the conversation. We hope to have you again. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
My pleasure. Steve,
thank you for being a part of the program, Steve Nwankwo. Thank you so much for being a part of the program.
All right, everyone. Well, our time is up. Continue with the conversation anymore, but then I know we've understood the analysis, looking at the state of the nation, how the current state of the economy has been examined, and the way forward, what the federal government is supposed to do as far as economists are concerned. All right, everyone. I want to say a very big thank you to you for being part of Global Morning today. This is the size of the program for you this morning. We say it is going to be a beautiful day, so just keep watching Global Television. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo.
And of course, remember the views of all our guests are extremely their views only. Global Television has no input whatsoever when it comes to their wheels of knowledge. I am Jemai Manson. Thank you all so much for being a part of the program. Bye-bye.